Greetings fellow humans, I'm MartianBuu, and today's pocket video is on Exeggutor EX Butterfree. The idea behind this deck is to get out an Exeggutor EX and have it tank everything your opponent uses against it. There are a lot of healing cards in this deck: Erica, Potion, and Butterfree. Butterfree allows us to heal 20 damage every turn from each of our Pokemon, which can be really strong. And Exeggutor both has a very high amount of HP for stage 1, but also its attack requires very little energy. Because our main attacker only requires 1 energy, we don't have to devote deck slots to X speed. This is also one of the more consistent stage 2 decks because Caterpie has Find a Friend, which allows you to grab a grass Pokemon out of your deck at the end of the turn. So it's not like some other decks that have to kind of throw in a Meowth to get a similar function. You're running the Caterpies anyway because you want to play Butterfree. We just get to be a little bit more consistent. While Exeggutor is really tough, one of the weaknesses of this deck is its low damage output. You're averaging 60 damage, which is okay, but if you flip tails too many times, your opponent can get a little bit too much momentum for you to overcome, even with all the healing. But it still makes for some pretty interesting games, and especially if you like longer games, this is probably a great deck for you. I hope you enjoy the games, and thank you so much for watching. My favorite Pokemon that didn't make it into any of the games is Bonsly. A lot of my most favorites, like Kabutops is one of the only ones that made it in that I can think of like my favorite favorites. Mewtwo and Charizard are kind of up there for me, but I don't really feel like I've been slotted into generic favorites with those two, whereas like, you know, personal favorites are more like Bonsly, Crobat, Darkrai, Kabutops, Tyranitar, Iron Thorns, you know, like those. So it's missing a lot of the ones I like the most. Are we facing the mirror of all time? This is gonna be silly. I think they have the edge starting Caterpie and going second. So this is where not having X speed is a little brutal because we can't just switch to execute and take advantage of going second. I guess I elected to start Caterpie though, so that's my own bad. I'm sure they wanted to just focus. I'm sure they just wanted to focus the original 150 for the most part. Also, this Venusaur is gonna sweep me. I was also a Kabutops back in the days of Gen 1 and 2. For the TCG, he was good, actually. Like, I understand, like, he had like a moment in the sun for like Rain Dance teams in the Game Boy, right? But like, for the TCG, his, in Gen 2, he was good. He was really good. For some reason, your favorite Pokemon is Stonejourner? That's exactly what's up. That's how you do it. Execute? Or I mean Exeggutor, rather? I'm gonna potion this. Evolve this one. And we're gonna try to find it. Let's find that Exeggutor. There it is. They wanted it 150, but they wanted to throw some steel types too. Well, they have like Magneton if they really wanted to just keep it. But it's not like just 150. There are a lot of non-150 Pokemon in. It's just a primary focus of the first 150. Can we get a Metapod? Oh, sick. Did I miss an energy last turn? Oh my goodness. So bad at that. Talented player MartianBuu sucks. It's okay. We'll never need energy again. Yay! Really, the question is Ludicolo here and is he viable? He's not. So he's not. Didn't get Swift Swim until Gen 3 when abilities were introduced. Back then, whether focus teams were OP. Right, yeah. Because they had a niche for a while there in Game Boys, but yeah, Gen 1 and 2 for card game, he was good. I understand he wasn't, I guess, good for the original games, but I also didn't really play competitively. I just kind of enjoyed having things at the time. Okay. Unlucky. This is so funny. It's like, like we're kind of tanky, but also we're very not. Like, we're just gonna run out of gas at some point. So if I was gonna switch the Exeggutor for Venusaur, we'd have to lose something. I think what we'd be losing is video games. Like, it's too much. I guess we'd cut Potion. But like, Caterpie doesn't have that much health. Is Mungus in the game? No. Very few non-151 Pokemon are in. Does weather exist in the TCG? Not really. Like, Rain Dance, for example, was just a way to attach extra energies in a turn. I feel like this Butterfree is my least interesting target. So we'll either get a head start on the Exeggutor or hopefully knock out this Caterpie. Like, it's not like we can knock any out. It's not like we can knock out anything by way of Sabrina moving forward, right? Like, the Butterfree has plenty of health. Does Pocket have a mechanic to prevent endless battles? There is a time limit, and there's also a turn limit, apparently, which I think is 30. Is there anything like Hazard in TCG? I am a filthy Smogon player. Yeah, there are things that like dealt damage when you retreat. There are things that deal damage when you put a Pokemon in play or evolve a Pokemon or attach an energy. All right. So this Sabrina is kind of good because it allows us to either get a head start on an Exeggutor, or if they want to risk it, we could just knock out that Bulbasaur on the bench. I do kind of like the idea of powering up a Butterfree just to like make sure I have a guaranteed 60 if I ever want it. And boop. The competitive scene has been doubles for a long time. Are there any doubles in the TCG? They experimented with it for a while. They had like a team format, and they also had a 2 active Pokemon format, and neither of them was very popular. When I got Tails, we're gonna heal that damage right off. Powder heal. This is never going to be a turn limit game, right? Like, if we can't knock out that Exeggutor in time, they just sweep us with the Venusaur. Oh my goodness. Unless, like... They must have the Venusaur in hand, right? They're just waiting to hit Ivysaur any day now. I can lose 2 Exeggutor though. Still no clue how energy works because the attacks need 1 energy. Why do you both have 2 energy on the Exeggutor? There's also retreat cost in the bottom right, so like it takes extra. You have to discard energy to move a Pokemon to the bench. So I can use those extra energy to move my Pokemon to the bench if I want to. Neat, neat, neat. So a head's next turn would be legal, but I assume they're just going to retreat into Venusaur and start like putting a serious clock on me. I have to hit heads every single time against this Venusaur. Unless they don't want to retreat it, which I think would be very sweet of them. Nah, of course. Can you move it to the bench on opponent's turn? No. You can only do stuff on your own turn. Powder heal. Powder heal. I guess I regret attaching to this Butterfree. I have to use one potion, but then I'm going to retreat to like double dip on powder heals for all the good that'll do me. Every Tails is brutal. Tie angle, just need to stall 5 to 6 turns. Is it really just that much left? It hasn't already been 5 to 6 turns, has it? Couldn't you then only put energy on the active one when you want to retreat it? You can only attach 1 energy per turn. So if you miss energy attachments, you... if you miss energy attachments, you can be stuck in bad positions. Can you attach a PTCG online account to this? Like, can I keep my old decks? Online will let you move your decks to live, but there's no synergy between online and Pocket, or live and Pocket. Alright, attach active. I retreat. Then we start healing up the Exeggutors. Very silly game. Heads? Nope. It really doesn't matter, right? Like, we're playing for the tie, pretty much. Does it say the turn limit anywhere, or have you just been counting? The 1 energy you missed early might come into matter. It might, yeah. But I still have both my Erica, right? Like, it's not that scary. And they haven't taken any points yet, so... I can also retreat to the Butterfrees, too. Like, I'll probably go to Butterfree next, right? Before I play the other Execute. Alright. I have a lot of cycling I can do. Yeah, this game is definitely going to turn limit. It says when I pass. Like I just missed it. Oh, turn 24. I see, okay. And it only goes to 30. I see. I see. I did know that, because that matters for like solo content. I just forgot about it. There's no punishment for 0 cards in deck? No. It's just the game ends in a draw at 30, I suppose. My next energy has to go active. This is why you should splash Charizard in all your decks. Too true. Right. Opponent, you go ahead and deal 100 damage to this Butterfree. That's great for me, right? Like, just lets me spread the powder heal love farther. Although maybe I should have sent up this Butterfree, because dealing the 60 damage doesn't matter. Never mind. I take it back. Nothing matters. Do you like the Marowak CX deck? I like it okay. It's kind of funny, like, because you can get 2 heads and, you know, be amused. But, yeah. So stupid. Opponent can't take any prizes. My my first Exeggutor is almost ready to come back up again. You're loving this deck? It is a little bit silly when your opponent only has so much damage they can do. Butterfree seems good. Yeah, if you get the 2 out and you're up against something with a damage cap of less than 120, I think it's probably pretty good. I really wish that there was like a basic 140 HP EX grass Pokemon to run with this. I stole my Erica. Can you, if you can? Is it risky to run multiple types in the deck? The problem is the energy zone gives you a random type. So you random type of the types in your deck. So if you run multiple types, it can be a little awkward because you'll sometimes hit the type you don't need when you need the other one. So there are very few decks right now, I think, that do multi-type well. Last turn for the opponent. I've never seen that before. What an exciting end to that game. Clicked attack 12 times and nothing happened. Yeah, it's perfect. The perfect game doesn't exist. Oh wait. It doesn't really matter, but it's funny though. It doesn't even make the person who's ahead on points win. That'd be sick if I got a win for just stalling out because I was ahead. There's a tie-in and a tie. It ended in a tie. We can tell because it said tie. But it would have been sick if I won because I was ahead on points. Incentivize stall decks to be aggressive. It was fun watching Tails Simulator. Who eventually wins that game? Probably them, right? Because Exeggutor's retreat cost is so high. Like, at a certain point, I get a bunch of heads and win, but I think at a certain point I run out of energies on Exeggutor to be able to retreat if it went on forever. You have a history of running stally teams in RPGs? That's what's up. You confident in flipping heads? Me too. Me too. I love how weak to grass the Sandslash is. It is about to get absolutely wrecked by an Exeggutor if I hit heads. I don't think it'll matter if I hit tails. Would love to stick around and fish for more grass Pokemon with my Caterpie, but Caterpie will die if I do that. And I want to have both Butterfree out for infinite heals. No. Caterpie, the gold painter. Are they gonna knock out a Caterpie? Sabrina. Flutterbee eggs? It is a Flutterbee eggs. Not familiar with the TCGs. When they release Unknown, is there a card for each one or only one? Sometimes, depends. So they've done just one before, they've done every one before. They've done that twice, I think. They've done every Unknown 2 times. When it first came out and then once again in like Ruby Sapphire era. But ever since then, they've done like just a little cycle of them. So I don't think anything was knocking this out next turn, but I got a little scared, I guess. So there was one, like, if they do just a few, they'll usually have, like, it'll be, the ability will be hand, have something to do with your hand, and you'll see H, A, N, and D all in the portrait. There was an unknown, so there's a mechanic V, so you'll have, like, Pikachu V, Pikachu V Max, you know, Vulpix V, Vulpix V Max, that type of stuff. And when they did Unknown for that, it was Unknown V, and they used the V, and it had a V-Star ability, so you could see the V and then the S, the T, the A, and the R in the background or something like that, and like there was like V Win or something like that was one of its abilities, and you could see all like in the special art of it, you could see it spell out the name of the attack or something like that. I have to pull it up. I thought it was really cool. So they do different things depending on the iteration. "26 Unknown EXs would be sweet." The original Unknowns, actually both of the first couple cycles of Unknowns I think were really cool. Wait, did they do it more than just once? Or more than just twice? No, it was in Gen 4 when they did it the second time, not Gen 2. Or not Gen 3, rather. They did it in Gen 2 and Gen 4 is when they did all of them, I think. I don't think they had a Gen 3 cycle. But anyways, they each had their own like little niche usage. I found out recently that the original ones were mistranslated. So there was Unknown N, which prevented damage dealt to your Pokemon by normal types. So it was really nice to, by 30, not completely, just by 30. So it was really nice to run that with Chansey, because Chansey deals 80 damage to itself. But that was actually a mistranslation. It's supposed to be by, like, it's supposed to be prevents 30 normal damage done to your Unknown in play, which is awful. Like, that's like straight up filler, not even close to interesting. So that's a little sad news bears, I guess. I'm going to Sabrina that bench thing and then flip heads. That's my plan. But yeah, so the first one were kind of toolboxy. N, M, and D, like they had each of those for normal, metal, and darkness. I think those are the only ones that actually ended up seeing play, now that I think about it. I remember I used a couple of them, like Alpha was useful for something. I think it let you move a damage somewhere. like just in Brews I would use them, but very few of the original Unknown saw play. Oh, they did do multiple cycles. They did do a Gen 2, a Gen 3, and a Gen 4 cycle. Because I think Unseen Forces was the Gen 3 one, right? But then they had those were all hollow. They were like a subset within the set that they came in. and I actually collected all of those ones. But there were a bunch of them that came out in Gen 4, and that's when they really saw play. Like there was Unknown Q. There were two that could attach. One, when it was attached, the Pokemon would have one less retreat, and the other one prevented effects of attacks. Was it Q for quick? It's been a long time. But like a couple of them saw play.